Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. More nonsense from Lord of the Rings, it would seem. Now, this nonsense comes in the form of Morfydd Clark, who plays Galadriel in the Rings of Power, just coming out and saying such nonsense. They're taking a leaf out of Disney's playbook with Star Wars and Marvel. You know, that marketing where they're like, you don't like this thing? Well, you're a bigot. Or, we don't like this thing, well, it's not for you, but also we hate you for not watching it, even though we didn't make it for you. Alright then. Love it. I love it when they do this. I love it. Because it's just everything that you imagine they're going to do. And now it's paint by numbers. You can just see it coming. It just happens all the time. We know they're going to do it. And they do it. And now... You know, we've been able to see it for years, you and I, but now normies are seeing it, and now normies are sick of it, and then the tide will turn, and that's comical, because it'll be egg on their face, won't it? So let's take a look at this. Again, very funny stuff. The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, Morfydd Clark, who plays Galadriel, admits the show is a perversion of Tolkien's work and tells critics to shut the F up. Because that's always done really well, you know. Oh, your opinion's not valid because reasons. What? No, everyone's opinion is valid. Up until a certain point. I mean, I have been telling people's opinions of Prey wasn't massively valid because they're like, oh, it corrupts the law. What law? You haven't seen it. Oh, it doesn't do the honour code. Yeah, it does. You haven't seen it. You know, you're forming an opinion based on nothing. So an opinion can be, you know, formed on nothing and not be valid. People's opinions of Lord of the Rings are massively valid because they're talking about, you know, direct comparison between an established setting versus everything we've been told about the show, which is now confirmed time and time again when the actors speak out. So Clark admitted the show is a perversion while speaking with Times magazine, telling the outlet, I didn't read the books and think, I wish there were more female characters because I just took it as a given that was the way things were. Well, you know what that tells me? It tells me it's well written. And that the female characters that you did read were actually well done. And yeah, no, I mean, that is just the way things are. Yes, and it's fine that is just the way things are sometimes. You know, not everything has to include a gay, black, trans, lesbian, right? Not everything has to have a box checking exercise. You know, we don't need everything to look exactly the same. This is what I've been saying about Netflix. Netflix has a severe problem where in their sort of striving to have diversity and inclusion, they just create a homogenous, non-diverse array of programming. It's okay to have something that's just Scandinavian, for instance, you know, without any black people in. That's fine. It's okay to have something with just black people in, with no white people. That's okay. You know, and this box checking exercise that all these companies do just leads to a homogenous sort of, you know, platter of programming, and it's boring. It's predictable and it's boring. However, she added, I'm standing on the shoulders of women who split metaphorical blood to get to this point. I hope young people, should they watch this, will think this is just the way things are. I hope young people read the books. They go, oh, this is terrible, let me read the books. Amazingly, Clark was right with her initial thoughts. The books are the way they are, because that's just how Tolkien wrote them, and is the way things are in Lord of the Rings. And in fact, again, they say here, Tolkien elaborated on his thought process about not including female orcs in a letter to Mrs. Mumby. He wrote, there must have been orc women, but in stories that seldom, if ever, see the orcs except as soldiers of armies in the service of the evil lords. We naturally would not learn much about their lives. Not much was known. And it's always, the unknown is always far better than it all being presented anyway. There are also significant female characters in Tolkien's works, including Clark's own character, Galadriel. Again, completely right. Others include Eowyn, Arwen, Rosie Cotton, Ioreth, Lobelia, Sackville Baggins, Goldberry, very important character, Goldberry. I mean, there's so many really important characters who do very, actually, pivotal things in Tolkien's world, and Clark's just pissing all over that by going, oh, there's not enough women. Shut the fuck up. Your female character, Galadriel, Morfydd Clark, has now been has just been reduced to anime armor lady. It's just pathetic. Galadriel's character in the books, in Peter Jackson's movies, was above that. Was so powerful. She was ethereal. She was above that. It's a much more compelling character to have than just generic elf soldier. Yeah. Nah. That's not good. That's not compelling. That's crap storytelling. It's generic. So nevertheless, Clark now rejects this idea in favour of perverting and altering Tolkien's work through Prime Video's Lord of the Rings of Power. She clearly states, I hope young people, should they watch this, will think this is the way things are. This would never be true, no matter Clark and Prime's efforts to destroy Tolkien's works. His works, especially Lord of the Rings, are some of the most read books of all time behind the Bible. A television show will not be able to change what he wrote and how it is, despite Amazon's attempt to do so. Completely right. Now, this is the funny thing, right? And not only did Clark admit the show is perverting Tolkien's work, she also had some choice words to say to those criticising her and Prime Video for doing what she's admitting they are doing. So she literally says, no, we're changing everything. And then she's annoyed that people take offence to that. So Clark posted to her Instagram stories, anyone sending hate to my black castmates, get off my page, get off the internet and shut up. Look, no offence, right? But when you've got that lady who's playing the the black dwarf, saying, oh, I'm breaking new ground, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that. Like, shut the fuck up. There has been plenty of black women in shows. Yeah, sure, you're playing the first black dwarf. Who cares? That's nothing to shout about. Who the fuck cares that you're playing the first black dwarf? I don't think anyone cares. Who's interested in that? That's something to scream and shout about? You're going to tell your kids that? Oh, mummy, I can be a black dwarf now, can I? No, you can't. You're normal height. You're not actually a dwarf. And actually, there have been black dwarfs in things. Real, people with dwarfism. You're not the first anything. You're lower rung than a prostitute. You're pretending to be something and taking great pleasure in it. It's pathetic. But no one's sending anyone hate. People have completely justified criticism of things which are going on, right? They go, look, you're changing everything. It's a bit shit that you're doing that. Can you please stop doing that? You've added black people for literally no reason outside of box checking. You've done this literally because of this for no reason. The world doesn't do that because Tolkien made it very, very clear cut as to why. Like, there's all these reasons, and people are just like, nah. She then shared a short video of her castmate Charles Edwards as Celebrimbor making a hand motion that reveals the phrase, shut the F up. Clark would seemingly ask in a caption below the video who made this. Yeah, I mean, look. It's just nonsense, isn't it, at the end of the day? These comments are nonsense, she's nonsense. What they're trying to do is nonsense. But I hand on over to you, what do you think? Yay or nay? Let me know down below. Other than that, have a fantastic day, ladies and gents. Follow me over on Twitter at Mr. Reviews. Also, ladies and gentlemen, consider checking out my Teespring store. Supporting the channel via this way does go a long way. But also, not only that, you do get to wear some awesome merch. These are one-of-a-kind designs designed for me by my graphic designer. We, of course, have our Clown World line, which is in mugs, hoodies, t-shirts. We've got Space Jeebus. And then for something a little bit different, we of course have right down at the bottom right here, we have our Pulsar GTIR. Also, ladies and gentlemen, consider checking out and supporting my second channel, which is Car Nonsense. This is a vlog and car channel. You can find links to this in the description box along with my Teespring. Please do consider supporting.